everybody, and welcome back to the Creative Life Studios. Today we're going to be playing on our gel press plate with some Neocolor wax crayons. So I'm using the technique that's a little different, where I'm actually dipping the crayons into a glass of water and then using them to just scribble across my 8x10 gel press plate. This is kind of fun because it kind of reminds you of being like a kindergartner or a kid where you're just like, just color it all. So it was kind of super fun just to kind of have that little flashback to kindergarten while I was doing this. So you can see that as the crayon dries out, I'm just dipping it right back in that clear water over on the side. And since this was going to be kind of a nod towards Halloween, I'm using those kind of new traditional Halloween colors of orange and green and that bright purple. So I am just making sure that I have my plate completely covered, and then I'm using a cardstock. I've really found with this particular technique that I like using a cardstock instead of a, ooh, I love that, bright colors, using a cardstock instead of like a watercolor or something like that. To get my ghost print up, I'm just adding a little bit of white acrylic paint. I'm not really going to use that in this particular uh, video, but I didn't want to waste all those cool colors, and you'll see in a second whenever I pull it up. It's a beautiful, very light pastel version of what I did. And so I pulled out two stencils from the Crafter's Workshop. I don't have the names of them in front of me, but I will link them down below. I'm just going to be using kind of this little girl portion. I wanted to do something kind of in the vein of Halloween, but without being necessarily Halloween-ish. Not because I don't like Halloween, it's just I don't know. I didn't feel like doing anything very like dark or anything like that. So I wanted to kind of play off this idea of a girl dressing up for Halloween. And so I'm using the girl portion of this stencil, and it's just a very rough, kind of sketchy version of a girl. Um, and so I'm just using a Faber-Castell stippling brush and just some plain black acrylic paint just to kind of dab into the stencil to give my image onto my watercolored background. And you can see it kind of is just very rough, very sketchy. And now I'm going to be adding some wings. I love this stencil. And so I want it to look like the wings are coming from behind her. So I am keeping the wings like behind her hair and behind her the bottom part that kind of mimics a shirt. Um, just so it gets this kind of idea that it's coming from behind her instead of kind of, I don't know, that's just what I did. And of course, she needed some rosy cheeks, and I thought it would be good too to break up the kind of color scheme on her face. I didn't want to do a full face transformation because I really wanted to keep that abstract color palette going on this particular project. And now I'm going to go in with some, this is the Precious Metals from Deco Art, and I'm going to use it on the wings to add a highlight, and you can see it gives this instant pop to where it looks like those wings are kind of 3D, which I was expecting it to be a highlight, but I didn't expect it to be kind of that prominent, so I loved it. And then I'm going in with that same color up on the little bubbles and a little bit in her hair, just to kind of emphasize, I'm not going crazy, I'm not painting it in, I'm just adding just some extra light to go with the darkness that the paint gave her hair. And then I went and dug through my stash of stamps, and I'm just going to use that to kind of fill in the background around her. I'm going to do my best to keep the stamps off of her face, and it's on her outfit a little bit, but mainly I basically want to fill in the space around her, just so the color scheme on her face is more distinct from the color scheme around her. Even though they're the same colors, I want to mute that background background down just a little bit. I definitely know this is different from kind of the normal stuff I put on my channel, but sometimes it's fun to try something new, and I've been playing with this watercolor technique in our Faith Impressions group on a gel press plate, and I thought it would be fun to try it with just something a little bit different. And you can see I'm just continuing to add just different shapes and different contrasting elements to the background. I really need to buy a new black archival ink pad because that one is just not doing the job anymore, as you can tell. So I think it's about time for me to just bite the bullet and buy a new one, or buy a re-inker. I guess that would work too. So you can kind of see where it is, and I'm just going in. This is the Picket Fence Studios Circles of Hope. I'm sorry, Circles of Faith. Sorry, stamp, and I'm just using that to add some orange to the background, and then I used my Deco stamp to add purples. I really just kind of wanted to reinforce those colors. And now I'm going in with a white pen just to add a little bit more highlight, and you can see how much that's making those wings pop. I was super excited whenever I was doing that, and I was like, oh yes, I like that, I like that. You can see it's just really adding just one more layer of depth and allowing that black to recede back into the project a little bit more. And like I said, I could have gone in and completely colored in her face and given her a normal skin tone and all that kind of fun stuff. But I really wanted the beautiful watercolor style background that I had created on my gel press plate with those neo colors to really be the highlight of this. She's kind of playing second fiddle to a pretty background right now. And I'm okay with that. I added just that pink to her cheeks just to make it stand out just a little bit more. And so it was really fun just to try something different, and I don't use stencils in this way as much anymore. I have used this exact stencil, the smaller version, in a Bible journaling page, but I've never used the bigger one and kind of done kind of a mixed media, funky, whatever you want to call this. So it was kind of fun to do something different and step out of my normal comfort zone for a project. To finish up this project, I just went to just a handy little Word document and kind of made my title. In case you're wondering how I did this particular title with the reverse, I actually wrote my words out, then highlighted them, and then made my background black, and then changed my words to white. And it gives me these great chunky black strips as opposed to white with black writing. So I'm just using a glue stick to adhere those down, and then I'm going to add some white just to give them a little bit of pop. And I think we're pretty much done. I just thought this was a fun idea, just that my wings are not just for Halloween, because, you know, I'm an angel all the time, right? Thank you guys so much for joining me today for something a little different here at the Creative Life Studios. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more fun videos. I'll see you next time.